Today, we're taking a look at a question that a lot of you guys may have asked yourselves in the past, and that would be if using more product actually cleans any better than using the recommended amount by the manufacturers. I know for a fact that we have all been guilty of adding just a little bit more product than we actually need because we think it's actually going to clean any better. So that is what we're going to find out in this video, if that little extra touch of chemical is going to do the difference in adding more cleaning power. So for this video, here are the 3 chemicals that we are going to test out. So first of all is Rinseless wash, which they recommend 1 ounce for every 2 gallons. So we're going to use 3 times the power to see if it really cleans any better. Next up, we have Incredible Suds, which in a foam cannon on their label, it says 4 to 5 ounces for a full foam cannon, which is way too much. They have made the correction and now it is 1 ounce for your foam cannon. Finally, we have Active Foam from Coke Chemi. Their recommended dilution ratio is 1 to 100 here in a foam cannon. So we're going to test that out and then try 3 times the strength to see if it cleans any better. So we'll do 1 panel with the normal recommended strength and then the other panel with 3 times the strength and then compare. As you can see, the car is pretty dirty. Just to show you on a soft tissue. So you can see there is quite a bit of dirt. The other panel is the same. So there's no differences in the panels. They are both equally dirty. And we are going to test out if one cleans better. For our first test, we're going to be trying out Incredible Suds. So as I said earlier, this is 1 ounce for a full foam cannon. So here we're going to do half the foam cannon. So I have 16 ounces. And this is a 32 ounce bottle. So we will put half an ounce in the foam cannon first and then go on and try 1.5 ounces inside the foam cannon and see the difference. So every cap of these bottles equals half an ounce. So this is perfect for pouring inside the cup. So 1 full cap of the product. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 3 minutes and then we're gonna rinse it off. I will do the same on the other side, but this time with 1.5 ounces of product, and we're gonna see how they compare. So now back onto the bottle itself, we can see that this is the 400 milliliters mark. We are about halfway to the 500 millimeters. So I will add a bit more water and then add 2 more capfuls of the product and put it on the other side. Now on this side, I'm testing the product with 3 times the strength than the one on the left side. So let's put it on this panel and see the results. So of course we can notice that this side has a lot thicker foam. So this stays on the paint a bit more. So maybe it's going to grab a bit more dirt and make it fall on the ground. We'll see at the end. This side has been about 3 minutes, so I'm gonna rinse this side off and then wait for this one for about 3 minutes and rinse again and then compare the 2 panels. Okay, so it's been 3 minutes on this side as well. Let's see how well it cleaned though. Now both the sides were rinsed off. I will now blow dry them to see how they are dried. I do not want to do any physical contact with the paint as I could grab some dirt and mess up all the results. So blow dry is the way to go and we'll see how well they clean. Okay, so when we were closer, I just dried them off. This is the side where the recommended ratio is. So as you can see, there's still a lot of stuff on there. You can see by just putting my fingerprints. there's a lot of stuff. And when we go to the more colorful side, so where I put more product, you can see it's pretty much the same exact thing. So still a lot of dirt with the fingerprint, you can see. So comparing the both, I would say there is actually no difference at all. Now I will foam both again and see with the contact wash if it is going to be different or not. So we'll see the results after the contact wash. For the contact wash, I'm using the Legacy sponge. So let's do both sides and compare them afterwards. So just one pass with the Legacy sponge. We're going to rinse it off and do the other side. So I have now cleaned my container. I have 500 more millimeters, and we're going to do the exact same panel with half an ounce. Do the contact wash and then compare the two panels. So one single pass on this side as well. We're going to rinse it off, dry it one more time, and see the difference. This side is where we use the recommended amount. As you can see, it does seem pretty clean. My finger leaves no traces, and if I pass with a small tissue, this is how it looks. So it came out pretty clean. I don't see any visual dirt on the tissue. Now on the other side, we have pretty much the same panel. This is a small scratch, so do not worry about this. Here, as you can see, once again, my finger does not leave any marks, so that means it's pretty clean. And now with a new tissue, to see how it is. Once again, no dirt on the tissue. It seems pretty clean. So my final thought using Incredible Suds between the recommended ratio panel, so this panel here, and the 3 times stronger ratio on this side, I would say they pretty much came out the same. It is really just a difference between what level of foam you're trying to get. So obviously the more product you put in the foam cannon, the more foam you will get, the longer it will stay on the panel. I will recommend the recommended ratio as it will cost you a lot more in the long run. You can see we didn't use a lot of product, only just one capful for half the foam cannon, which would basically do the whole entire car. So it is much more economical this way than using more than the recommended ratio. Okay, so now onto the other side of the car. I will not do the active foam from Kokemi test as it is pretty much the same as the Incredible Suds, but I will do the Rinseless wash to see if there's a difference between using a stronger ratio than just using the 256:1 ratio, which is the recommended one. Okay, so I brought the car inside the garage as it is raining outside, but the same thing for the Rinseless test. As we can see, we do have quite a bit of dirt. So all of this is dirt, and then on the other panel, it's the exact same. So a lot of dirt on the car. We'll test out on this panel 256:1 for my Rinseless wash, and on this panel 3 times stronger. I already have the dilution ready inside this pump sprayer as I use it quite frequently. So this is diluted 256 to 1. For those who don't really know how dilution ratios work, this basically means that I have 1 part of product, so the Rinseless wash in there, for 256 part of water. So this is a really economical product and it really goes a long way. I'm pretty excited to see the results between these two because Rinseless wash is now one of the most used methods to wash a car. It's been in the industry for a long time and more people are starting to use it. By the way, I have a video on Rinseless wash. If you want to check it out, feel free to go watch it after finishing this video, of course. Okay, so I will do both the panels at the same time. I have a second pump sprayer, which I will put 16 ounces. And for a 256 to 1 ratio, that would result to having about 2 milliliters of Rinseless wash. I will do about 3 times as much. So in here, in my Pro Blend proportioner, which tells me exactly how many ounces or milliliters I have, I will put about 6 to 7 milliliters. So pretty much 3 times as strong as the recommended dilution ratio. So I will put this inside the pump sprayer. And then we are ready to spray on the panel and test out exactly how it cleans. While I'm waiting for 3 minutes, what I found out is that on the more stronger dilution ratio on the right side, we can actually see the product on the panel, as on the left side, we can't really see it. We know it's encapsulating all the dirt, but we cannot visually see the product itself. So it's been about 3 minutes. I'm going to rinse it off, dry it, and see how the dirt came off of both panels. Okay, so here it is after drying. These are the marks I did before putting Rinseless wash as a free treat. So we can see them clearly and we can see a lot of dirt still. So it pretty much removed the grit, but the dirt is still on there with the recommended ratio. And then on the stronger side, we can see that the results are pretty much the same. I'm trying to find a good angle here, but you can see the 2 marks I did before. And I would say both are pretty much the same. Once again, I do not visually see any differences. I will now apply the product on both panels once again, then do my contact wash, rinse it off, and then dry again to see how they came out. From here, normally you could dry all your vehicle with a drying towel, but in this case, I will dry only a section with the drying towel and then rinse off the other section to really get to see the difference between blow drying after doing the rinseless and just drying with the towel directly after doing the rinseless wash. So that is what I'll do. In this section, I will just dry it with my drying towel to see if it leaves any streaks also. So this side and this side. If I bring you guys closer, we can tell I just dried this side and right there. We can see kind of a bit of streakings on this side. I don't know if it is product related, but there are some kind of streaks on the more concentrated product. As on this side, it is way better looking. There isn't any kind of streaks. and the black looks pretty good. But on this side, you can see those kind of streaks right there. And on this side, not as much. So I will now rinse off the panel and blow dry it to see the difference between the two. So I just finished rinsing and then drying with my blow dryer once again. And the results side by side. In the distance, I would say in an honest review, we can't really tell the difference. If we get closer, this is the part where I didn't touch with my drying towel before. We can still see that there are quite some streaks. I don't know if these are already on the paint. On this side, which is the recommended dilution ratio, oh, actually, we can see quite a bit of streaking. So I think these were already on the paint. So yeah, for the Rinseless product itself, I do not notice any difference between the two panels other than the streaking, which were already on the paint. Okay, so there it is. All the tests are done. As we saw, to respond exactly to the question, no, using more product or adding more product to your dilution ratios doesn't actually clean any better than the recommended one by the manufacturers. So I would suggest you don't try and add a bit more product, as it is pretty useless and you're just wasting your money. So put the recommended amount, stay more economical, and also avoid any issues that may happen when using too much product. Now obviously, yes, there are some chemicals that using more may clean a bit better. For example, some manufacturers on their products actually recommend more than one dilution ratio. So for example, an all-purpose cleaner, is it for interiors? Is it for bugs? Is it for wheels? So depending on which you're cleaning, yes, the ratios may vary, so you might want to check it out. So for my wheel and tire cleaning, I use Brake Buster, which on the tires, I like to use it diluted 1:1 or undiluted, as I find it cleans a bit more and doesn't leave that brown residue or brown tire at the end. It leaves it nice and black. But on the wheels, I do use a dilution, so I dilute it 4:1 for the wheels. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope some of your questions may have been answered. And I also hope you will try and put a bit less product than you might normally use. But I do agree that putting more soap is always satisfying. Seeing that thick foam is just awesome. If you made it this far, I want you to comment down below if you have already used too much product and if it did or did not cause any issues to your car or your client's car. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more detailing content. Now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.